Sony just announced that by 2028, they will be exclusively selling digital content and phasing out all of their physical media. What does this mean for the future of gaming and Nintendo in specific? Let's talk about it.
Welcome to Switch Center. My name is Quinn.
My name's Burge.
Let's get into that topic.
For today's episode, though, we get to talk about depressing stuff, which
What?
is the death of physical media.
This is unfortunate, and it's something that keeps getting brought up, but there is a new development this week, so I'm glad that we get to jump on it right away and give our thoughts.
I have my notes that I wrote on my lunch break in blue pencil, so
Beautiful.
we'll get right into it. Sony is already in production of PS6 consoles, so
Okay, first off, that's just crazy, because it
Yeah.
used to be so exciting. We didn't know about these consoles, but now we know this stuff. I mean, it makes sense, but I am surprised. It's cool.
I don't know if it's cool. So the
Ooh.
PlayStation 5, it feels like it just got released. Of course, I don't want to be one of those people who's always talking about, COVID and time moved fast, but after COVID happened, but it kind of did. And I feel like I just got my PS5 and now already it's going to be outdated with the PS6, and it feels like the graphics are diminishing returns at this point. You know, a lot of the PS5 games were simultaneously released on PS4 even years after the PS5 was released. So why would I ever get a PS6? And now to hear this, that it's not even going to have a disc drive. It's just, people are not happy, I'll just say that.
Now,
It's-
to be fair, how many disc games, physical games, did you get for your PS5?
Not very many.
But you did get some. That's impressive.
I did get some.
I haven't bought a single disc game since the PlayStation 3 days.
I think a lot of the discourse revolving around physical media right now also is related to what else Sony just announced, which is the fact that September 1st, they'll be removing digitally owned movies that were owned or rather distributed by Studio Canal and bought through Sony devices. So
That's bad.
even if you already bought these movies, they are going to actually remove them from your PlayStation system or your Sony account. So movies that people purchased, thought that they owned, are going to be deleted from their
But
devices.
Burge, did they not read the fine print? Did they not see that they can take it? I mean, this has always been the threat, and I've always been wondering, when is it finally gonna kick in? You know, Netflix can remove shows, but it's different. It's streaming. This is like the sign of a new wave of things to come.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. 551 movies are going to be deleted from people's accounts. Now, I understand that there's legal loopholes. I understand that in the contracts that people signed, or rather pressed I agree to the terms of service when they bought these, they said, I don't actually own this, they can take it away at any time. That doesn't make it right. And in my mind, it doesn't make it any different than stealing. Even if they're technically not breaking any law, they are still taking items that I bought away from me. If someone robbed me of all of my Blu-ray discs, I'd be pretty pissed, even if there's no legal recourse to this thing that Sony's doing. It doesn't make it any less of a slap in the face to the consumers. And I agree with you, the fact that I think now we're going to be seeing a lot more pushback against digitally owned items, or at least them to be more regulated in the US.
I think it's been interesting because this is a discussion that's been getting more and more popular, getting a lot more traction. But I mean, if you've been outside of the digital crowd, I think of some of my coworkers, they probably have no idea.
Your
that this is
coworkers are
something that'll
80
happen.
years old.
This is true. They might have bought something on their
They only
Apple
have VHS
TV,
tapes.
and they had no idea that this was an agreement there. And there are laws in place for if the rules and regulations aren't easy enough to understand. But I'm curious how much this holds up, because I really do think PlayStation, or Sony rather,
Yeah.
starting with this, it's going to set a pace. I think one interesting place to look that's very silly is the Rock Band video games. It's always been that music licensing is hard, but they've released all these games, and if you transfer them from each game over and over, you can have songs that they haven't licensed in years because of their original agreements. Well, now that probably cost them a ton. Now you can't buy the songs.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, but you've still been able to have them. That's like saying, hey, you bought these songs forever ago. You spent, what, $200 on your collection of songs. You just don't get to have them anymore.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to say.
I think it's pretty interesting because for the longest time, this has kind of felt like an empty threat. You know, people who do buy digitally, me included, I just like the convenience of it, have thought, well, technically this is just leasing these games, but hopefully, you know, they'll never just delete them. And I, even on my PS3, can download games that I bought all the way back then. But these 551 movies being deleted, just it sets a crazy precedent. And what was their team thinking? Like, this is horrible HR, and they should have caught this beforehand to do the wombo combo of saying that they're going to delete all of these digital movies and then say, hey, we're only doing digital stuff moving forward. I just don't know what they were expecting the reaction to be, or if they thought, like, yeah, people are going to be mad, but, you know, what are they going to do?
I think that's it. It. They go, we're Sony. Xbox isn't like a threat anymore. Nintendo's off doing their own thing. We can do what we want, and we can set a new industry standard.
Yeah.
And that's kind of scary.
Just since we said we're being accessible, I will say, for those of you that don't know, Xbox is also in dire straits. Microsoft's gaming division, they are going through quite a few layoffs. That's for a different episode, but pretty much the gaming landscape right now is Sony is what people buy for powerful gaming. Switch is what people buy for portable gaming. Then there's also Steam Decks, which are kind of like Switches, but they're exclusively portable, and you can play any game that's on PC for them. Yeah, but that's a good point. How does this tie into Nintendo? Well...
And it sure does.
Yeah. Because Sony is choosing not to manufacture physical discs anymore, Nintendo is kind of the last bastion for physical media in video games. They're still producing carts that you can slot into your Nintendo Switch system, and because the Switch 2 just released last year, it seems like they're not going to stop manufacturing those anytime soon. And even if you look at Sony's sales data, games like Spider-Man 2, half of their sales were physical media, so it seems like there's still a market for people buying
that's impressive
physical games rather than just digitally. Even though it seems like things are moving to a digital landscape and have been for a while.
And it is interesting because you have a lot of these games where they'll release the disc and the disc has a lot of data on it.
Yeah.
But not everything. You can't even play the whole game with just the disc. You need to get a whole day one download.
Yeah.
Same with some of the Switch games, yes. And I think that was the issue with the cartridges that just say, hey, this is your download code. Put in the cartridge and download the game, because people want to have all that media there so that when things start getting removed, they still have their game. They can still play it.
Yeah. So it is unfortunate that it seems like a lot of third-party developers are choosing to do that, even for Nintendo consoles. These little cards that you slot into your Switch, I forget the exact term for them.
Game carts?
Cartridges, yeah.
Cartridges.
Game carts, whatever. There's these game key carts that are... None of the game is actually on the cartridge. It's just essentially code that allows you to then download it from the eShop. And so it's no different than buying it digitally. So there's no real purpose for getting the physical other than like maybe gifting it to someone. And this upset a lot of people because of the whole digital landscape, you know?
It is interesting because Steam has been doing this for years. They don't have any physical media.
Yeah.
And people are just okay with it. But to be fair, Steam games are probably the cheapest from any marketplace that you can get them. And to that end, Nintendo is making their digital games cheaper than buying the physical games. It's almost going that same route and just hoping that things will go well. We talked about this in the past when we were getting ready for this, but PlayStation really is doing it on a different level. But to be fair, It was in the cards. I have a digital only PlayStation. I haven't thought about this, but it makes sense that some people are going to be really concerned.
Yeah. And to be fair, the way that Nintendo is doing it, I think, is a lot more of a compromise. The fact where they say, hey, we get more of a slice of the pie when you buy our games digitally because we don't have to pay for manufacturing costs. So we'll make them cheaper for you guys. And if you still want the physical card, you can still buy that. Just for if there's an apocalypse and you want to be able to play the games after the nukes drop and you're in your bunker. Or just if corporations are greedy and start delisting all these games.
I can still play ARMS during a nuclear fallout.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
You'll be the talk of the Fallout shelter when you're the only one with the Smash cart.
Oh, can you imagine?
Well, I think what a lot of people are saying is that you should vote with your wallet. You know, how many times has that actually worked? Who knows?
I think what happened with Nintendo,
yeah.
It looked like maybe not the voting with the wallet, but like social outcry, and maybe all of it combined did lead to some change.
You know, there was a lot of social outcry when Nintendo started pricing their games at $80, and so they did seem to compromise and put them down to $50 when they could. Digitally do that. I think, you know, I personally, what? Why are you smiling?
It's so crazy because I'm thinking, how much is this really going to affect how much Nintendo makes, how well each game sells? And we really can't know. We pull a lot of statistics and we try and figure things out, but we'll really just have to see how it shakes down over time.
Yeah.
Star Fox came out. It's $50. Did you buy it?
Okay, I want to, but
same. Now I think this hit us at an interesting time where we were buying a couple other indie games.
Yeah,
and Star Fox just kind of fell under the radar. But
it's getting great reception. I think it's doing fantastically.
I'm hoping that it sells well because
personally, you and I have been trying to get into Street Fighter, but that's another conversation, maybe for the end of the podcast. But I think I will be buying it.
Right. And I think so too. I hope that their sales aren't hurting because
a lot of people have been saying it's the best Switch 2 game yet. So I'm very interested in playing it. So I think, you know, the most we can do is vote with our wallets. I think screaming into the void on Twitter probably won't do anything. But if you want to buy physical games...
It just might.
You know what? You can
Scream
try
harder.
It. Let us know how it goes.
All right, everyone. This was a cut-down version of our podcast episode covering this specific topic. If you want to hear more about our thoughts and all of our long ramblings, click on the link down below. If you enjoy the podcast format, subscribe over there. I'm sure you'll love the content.
And if you like what we're doing here, make sure to subscribe on this channel. And also hit that bell.
Ding, ding.
Tell your friends. Comment down below.
Tell us what would you like us to cover? We're going to put in little things, but we're going to stay locked in on the news. There's been a lot of news topics. But tell us if there's something that you want to hear, something you want to vibe on. We'll talk about it.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.